Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thomas Carter Rochester, a.k.a. the son of Dale.
And my name is David Thompson, a.k.a. What do you think the odds are of getting out of a Sarlacc pit?
Oh, they're very high, my friend. Like 1 for 1.
Seems that way.
David, what do we got going on today?
Well, today we're going to get to the news, obviously, with some breaking news today, some Star Wars related breaking news, which we are very excited to talk about at the top of the hour. The main topic today is like our focus. We've been doing the MCU breakdowns for the future projects, the rumor mills, and our kind of speculation on the future of the MCU. And today we'll be discussing the Sony portion of the MCU, Morbius, Venom, and of course Spider-Man, my boy. And we're going to be discussing all of that and getting into how that relates to the MCU and its new universe and literally everything related to that. And we decided to make its own little episode because there's just so much to it now.
There's so much to it. And, you know, for those of you who are with us live, I see you in there, Terry, as always. Thank you for tuning in again, brother. All the way from Ireland. I don't even know what time it is there. It's almost midnight or already midnight, something like that. And thank you, Derek Schaefer. I see you in the chat as well. Please, again, leave your comments with us. Follow along on this journey. Release the amazing thoughts that are in your minds because, you know, we get tired of hearing our own thoughts.
Yes, please.
I definitely get tired of hearing my own thoughts. But, you know, we're going to hop right into it. We got a big show for you today. We're going to start right on off with everyone's favorite segment. What the news? And that leads us to the big breaking news.
Breaking news, everyone.
I don't know how to say it.
Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, is back as Boba Fett in Mandalorian Season 2.
Who called this? Who called that Boba Fett was? Who called that the Fat Man was making an appearance again? Who was it? Oh, yes, it was Thor, son of Dale. Someone give that guy a coconut water.
So anyway,
oh man,
Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 2. This is crazy. Who would have thought? Like, I didn't think they were gonna make a return. Yeah, I guess you would have. I wouldn't have thought. This is crazy. I think I love it how it's the guy who played Jango Fett in the prequels. Like, it's really cool. It keeps the continuity of it. Yeah. I guess he got out of the Sarlacc pit. I wonder if some fans will be upset by this. I personally am excited. Like, I feel like will it take away? I mean, I don't know. Like, is it because Boba Fett really is, you know, why Mandalorian is even a show because of the popularity of Boba Fett, like the cult following almost in a way that almost makes Mandalorian, like, gave it kind of the interest because he was a recognizable kind of like, you know, the Mandalorian armor and all of that. So yeah. I wonder if it'll take away from maybe I can't imagine him taking away from Baby Yoda, but maybe take away from, you know, the Mandalorian. I don't think so. I'm surprised we are getting this news right now because, you know, I would have thought Disney and Star Wars would have tried to almost save this and then make it be this big reveal in the show. And if, all right. We're going to have Boba Fett in this. Of course, we're going to have Baby Yoda. We're going to have Boba Fett. And we're going to have possibly Ahsoka. Like, bro, what is this? This season's going to be insane.
Are you already ready for our first fan theory of the day? Because I've been thinking about this since it dropped. He played the clones in episode 3 and episode 2.
Yeah.
Right? He played Commander Cody, you know, blast him. What a jerk. But he also voiced Boba Fett, went back and did the dub for his original trilogy appearances in the new release.
Right. Yeah.
And they made every single clone in Clone Wars look like him. If you've seen Rebels, spoiler alert, he's Captain Rex and 3 other clones are still alive. I'm wondering if they release this news because they're also going to have him play Captain Rex. If Ahsoka comes in, like, spoiler alert for you, buddy, but Clone Wars ends with Ahsoka and Rex. I mean, it ends with someone super dope, but it really ends Rex and Ahsoka. And then in Rebels, you know, they make their appearances again. If Ahsoka's coming in, she's gonna have like her best friend there. I think, you
Right.
know, they're buddies, they're pals, they are great friends, and there's no one who should play Captain Rex in live action except for the man, the myth, the legend, Temuera Morrison. Like,
so you think he could be double casted here? You think he could be Boba Fett and Rex?
he played Jango Fett in like 30,000 clones in Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Okay. He played every other clone and voiced every other clone in episode 3. So like, yeah, dude, I totally think not only is it plausible, I think it's highly possible because he's there. You already cast him as the Boba Fett. See, that's how legendary he is. He's his own Boba Fett. Like, you know, not Florida State University, the Florida State University. I think, why not, dude? Why not? In this fracking crazy world we live in, why not throw a big beard on him and be like, yo, by the way, you're Captain Rex?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think that could be really cool, and it would be pretty clever by them to actually, you know, pull through with that. I'm just looking at it now. Like, I'm surprised we're getting this news. Like I just said, I thought it could have been. I feel like their track record in general is like to have surprises with this stuff. And if this is what we're getting, we're already getting reports of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. What are the surprises gonna be? Well, you know what I mean?
Hold on, let's pump the brakes on the Ahsoka bit. It's heavily rumored.
Yeah.
This is confirmed, dude. Like,
yeah.
But like, holy fracking shirt ball. Like, this is insane. I am so hype that we're getting. I mean, I'm hyped to get Boba Fett, but I'm so hyped to get the actor who played his dad, who was the model for all of the clones, because then it opens up so many more possibilities.
Right.
For, you know, like, because clones age. And this, by the way, spoiler alert for another fan theory from my Thor Watches series, the finale, I argued that clones do age. So Baby Yoda, or as I like to call him, Baby Yeet, because he's pumping the roof off the place, he could still be a clone of Yoda.
Right.
Or, you know, it's
we don't know what he is.
We don't know what he is. He still could be a clone, but he said he's too ugly. It's too ugly. Looks like it's natural. Well, we'll see how he looks. You know, really, if we see Boba Fett's face, that'll be important. Because that'll really prove whether or not clones truly age in live action, because that's the key here.
Yeah.
I could literally go on all day. Oh,
yeah. So one thing in the report by Hollywood Reporter is the one that initially had the exclusive kind of scoop on this. Typical. It says I mean, hey, well, I'll take it. Boba Fett is expected to play just a small role in season 2 of the series after the character was teased in the season 1 episode, The Gunslinger, when a mysterious figure sporting the bounty hunter's trademark spurs approached the apparently lifeless body of Fennec Shand, who is Ming-Na Wen's character, who had such a small role. Why was she in it for like 2 minutes?
Because she's so annoyed by that.
I know. Give me more now.
We are getting more. I know, man. See, I feel like I was surprised when they killed her in the way that they did, but I always had the what?
It was just so quick. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it was so quick, but I always had the idea, like, I mean, let's be real. How many people have been brought back to life in Star Wars? It is a part of the mythos that you can bring someone back to life.
Yeah.
And when you have a limitless amount of money because your boss has been murdered, hashtag thank you, Princess Leia, for killing the fat slug man, aka Jabba the Hutt. I listen to Jabba the Pod like all the time, by the way, the podcast. So I almost was like, thank you, Hutt Slayer, for doing what you do. Like, I can't wait to listen to their podcast on this story. Before we move on, I want to say hello to Jen Hogan. She was commenting along with us. Hi. And Terry is excited is looking forward to the Mandalorian tying into the movies with just that news alone. And, you know, there's other big Star Wars news, was there not, my friend?
Yeah, there is, especially related to movies, which you could directly tie into what you were just saying, Terry. So Taika Waititi, he is a busy man. He just directed Thor Ragnarok. set to direct Thor: Love and Thunder. He did a great job with Ragnarok. I even liked Jojo Rabbit, which came out, which he directed. I like that movie. I think he's kind of
so good. It's so good.
The shoes scene.
Oh,
Taika Waititi is on fire in Hollywood, and he's obviously in good standing with Disney relating to Thor, and he's already
Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, he even with Mandalorian, he directed the last episode. He plays what is it?
IG-11.
IG-11. I almost said IG-88.
I know. Hey, it's a hard one not to say. And he also is directing an episode. Is he
doing Mandalorian season 2?
That's a good query.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway,
because they released
looked it up, and so the news is he is set to direct and co-write a Star Wars film. It is completely up for discussion as to when the Star Wars film will be taking place, what the storyline will be, anything related to it, if it's going to be a part of like a bigger series or sort of a spin-off like we've seen with maybe Solo or Rogue One. Like Star Wars right now is kind of in a weird place with their plans after the Skywalker saga came to an end, where no one really knows exactly where they're going. But the thing is, I think what's cool about Star Wars right now is that on different mediums, they're being more active and being kind of all over the place, especially like Fallen Order. And now they're talking about a Fallen Order, a second one, with the books coming out with the High Republic and all of that. And I'm so excited for all that to come out. And Taika Waititi, he's a great director. And I think, especially with his work in Ragnarok, and I'm sure what it'll be in Love and Thunder. Also, he's busy. There's no indication as to when this movie will be coming out, but I'm sure it'll be a little while.
2-ish years, give or take.
Well, when does Love and Thunder come out? Love and Thunder comes out, what now?
2-ish years.
Yeah, okay. I mean, for me personally, Star Wars,
it's about
movies,
2 years away.
Yeah. Just like Star Wars movies to me, I think are kind of due for a little bit of a little break, especially with all of the other, like I said, on the different mediums, how much other Star Wars content we're getting. TV shows. We just had Clone Wars, but I'm going to catch up on soon. I promise, Thomas. And then
it's a
Mandalorian. Mandalorian already set for a season 3. We haven't even seen season 2. We haven't even seen a trailer for season 2 yet. It's already set for season 3. There's talks of other spin-off Disney Plus series. So I think Star Wars has a lot going for them right now. The video games, like I just mentioned. So I think this movie could be something that's kind of, I would love to see a one-shot, because I think I honestly wasn't a hater on the sequel trilogy, the most recent trilogy, personally. Like, I think from A to B, like the full story to me, I could see where things went wrong, but I honestly had fun with the entire series. But I think where they lost a lot of people is that they didn't have this through line story that really like stayed together as well as maybe like an MCU arc or something like that, where there wasn't just one writer in the room kind of just going through it, and it was a bit disjointed, and it seemed like there was almost like some like tug of war in between movies of like doing this and then retconning it. So I think what would be fun and how they would get the best movie out of this is if they just make it, they go, hey, Taika. Oh, and also forgot to mention that Christy Wilson Cairns, sorry, I probably butchered that, to co-write screenplay, who is a Oscar nominee writer. So that is very important to mention that, it's pretty good team writing this movie. And my point is that I think that this movie would be benefit for being a one shot, where they're not focused on creating something more than it. Like if it really takes off, then cool, maybe they make a sequel. But I really think movies nowadays are trying to kind of copycat the MCU, where each movie leads into the next, and they're trying to build these bigger universes, and it's really hard to do. Like Marvel Studios is really well run, and they have really great writers, and but you see a lot of these directors leaving for creative differences because there are so many like restrictions and these kind of like writing restrictions of creativity, where you have to fit it in their image, like in Feige's image. So I feel like if this Star Wars movie that Taika's working on, because he's so creative and I feel like he has such like funny ideas, I'd love. I'm kind of hoping that it's just a one shot movie where he can just do what he wants, write the story he wants, not have to focus on setting up a sequel.
Yes.
And then we get a good and we just get a great movie in a couple years.
See, I was thinking about this today, and I just thought of something monumental in my brain, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Just remind me, Feige. That's the code word. I was thinking about it today that I think what they're going to do is focus on one movie at a time. You know, they have Rian Johnson, who's confirmed, I believe, to be going into is planning a trilogy of his own. So he's doing his own trilogy.
But that's okay. I've read lately that that's kind of like uncertain now. But yeah, that was a report at one point.
After they put out Solo in May, and then oh no, we're not doing any of these stories because it didn't make the money we needed. Well, you should put it out 6 months after Last Jedi. You should have known better. Read the room, Disney. Come on. Sorry, not Disney, Lucasfilm. Apologies. Anyways, back to the plot. I think that Taika is the type of person who can write a one-off and completely set up an entire universe. Examples. Well, Jojo Rabbit is like, you could write more movies based on Jojo after World War II and then take him to like a dark place, and Hitler comes back in his head. Spoiler alert, Hitler is a character in Jojo Rabbit. If you didn't know, it's amazing. But also think about What We Do in the Shadows. Like, it's built so much. Like, what he does is he just builds a universe, because that's what you do as a creator, as writing a movie, is you have to build a universe that it fits into. And if you have a pre-existing universe, then sometimes it makes it easier, sometimes it makes it harder. I think Taika is the type that it's easier for him because he knows the vibe already and he puts his spin on it. And in Star Wars specifically, you can have any take you want because it's like our world. Like, we are an homage, or that is an homage of our world in various ways. You know, you have funny episodes about droids, funny episodes with quips back and forth between, you know, Sky Guy and Snips. And then, you know, you have the season finale, and holy fracking shirt bollocks, man. It's just tear jerking stuff. Then you have Rogue One and then A New Hope. And like, those are tonally, totally different films.
Yeah.
But they
like, happen right after each other.
They're snapped together. Like, you know, it's so vast, the storytelling. And that's why I think, like, that's why I was always upset that there was only like, just as a representation, there was like one black dude in the whole thing, and then there was like two, and now it's like, oh my god, look, now it looks like our world finally. Thank you. And then there's, you know, more new aliens they're making and more new droids and all this stuff. I think it's a big deal. We've been going for 20 minutes, but before we move on, I remembered something when I was looking for this. So first, the directors for Mando season 2 confirmed: Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Carl Weathers, Mando. Can't wait for him to be back. Bryce Dallas Howard. This is, I love Taika, but of all the episodes that I loved, these two were at my top of the list because it's Rick Famuyiwa. I said his name wrong. I'm so sorry, Rick. But he did episode 2, getting the egg, Suka, that episode. And he also did the Prison Break episode, which is easily my favorite episode of the whole thing. Like, that was just pure Star Wars in all its freaking glory. I'm so excited he's back. Our last two are Peyton Reed.
Right.
That was Ant-Man and Ant-Man and Wasp. And
that was cool.
Was it just Ghostbusters? I don't remember the name, but he did the female Ghostbusters. Did he not?
Peyton Reed did? Oh, I don't know. So. I honestly don't know.
I think he did. I could be wrong. Terry, correct me, because I might be wrong. And then, are you ready for this? Because we saw this movie together, bro, and we were like, "Oh, we finally get to see it." Alita Battle Angel director Robert Rodriguez.
Ooh,
right?
That is a slept-on movie. I like that movie. I hope he comes out with a sequel.
Same. And if you want to take like somebody who makes a movie and you go, yeah, he can direct Star Wars, that's the movie. Totally. That movie is, out of everything I've seen from directors, I'm like, you know, this, like, it really did remind me of Star Wars. Like, it was so
especially
good.
The action.
Oh, dude, slept on so hard. I didn't think it was going to be good.
Me neither.
And I remember you didn't either, because we saw. For folks that don't know, this is my movie buddy right here. We would talk about movies all the time at work, and it's a surprise we did anything positive at work and productive, because that's what we did. Yeah, hardly. Because all we would do is talk Star Wars, Marvel movies, DC, and stuff. We had been going to movies with Movie Pass and AMC A-List for almost a year, and Battle Angel finally came out. And when it did, we're like, well, we got to go see it. We're committed. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I've only seen the one trailer, and it was the same trailer over and over, and we were just blown away by it. Just boom. Now, moving on from that. Oh, no, what are you going to say? Yes, sir.
Oh, no, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good.
Our last Star Wars piece of news, I can tell you'd forgotten it because I had forgotten it. Hayden Christensen is being rumored to make an appearance in the Kenobi series, and I am so excited and perplexed as to the possibilities. I'm hoping, because I have a dark, twisted soul, that he's like, burnt Annie. Oh no, Annie, you ain't got no legs.
You think so?
I mean, I don't think so, but I'm hoping so. I have a feeling that it's gonna be flashbacks.
Me too.
Or it is the good side reaching out to Kenobi, and Kenobi just thinks it is. That's actually, I have a third one, and Kenobi just thinks that it's just himself going crazy,
right?
Or it's a literal force projection of Kenobi's memory, which is kind of the other two put together. But like, it's I feel like that is the realm of which we would see this.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Hayden like in the Vader suit, as cool as that would be. I mean, as cool as that would be, like if he takes off the helmet and it's him in there. But I think it's highly more likely what you said. It's like a force projection. It's a callback. It's like a flashback. Him thinking about Obi-Wan, or him thinking about Anakin. I mean, that Obi-Wan series. My brother.
Who's about to destroy the Sith, not join them.
I hate you. Anyway. It's so bad. Anyway, I think certainly that Anakin, first off, just forget how he's gonna be in it. Just the fact that he could be in the show, I think, is a super cool idea. Yeah. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like the prequels, but it's still Star Wars, and we've seen, especially in like Clone Wars. I haven't watched last season, but like just in Clone Wars in general, the time frame of the prequels, even in Fallen Order, kind of right after the prequels ends, that time in between, like Order 66 and the beginning of New Hope, it's such a place where a lot of people have tried to get their footing in, and we've seen it not a lot on the big screen or on television. So I think having a familiar face like Anakin and Hayden Christensen, who has not, he's been out of the loop. Like, I feel like he's gotten a lot of hate from a ton of people. He kind of got brought back in.
No reason.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it and you really, like, as a kid, I was like, I wish he'd have done that in a different way. It comes down to A, the writing, and B, the direction, which was all George Lucas.
I blame that way more than I blame him.
Because look at what they gave Natalie Portman, and she's a freaking amazing actress. Yeah. Also, I'm not gonna even hate it. I mean, I'm not even gonna let this slide under the rug here. I'm looking at you, Thor 1 and 2. Like, I can't wait for Taika to get a hold of Natalie Portman and Jane Foster. Like, just give her something. She was great in episode 2, and she was such a badass. And then in episode 3,
in episode 3,
she's the MacGuffin.
Yeah, she's just the damn woman. I know.
Not even that. She's just a MacGuffin the whole movie. She's not in distress. She's not a damsel. She goes to fight. Like, she literally goes, and that was like the best thing, is she goes to try and plead with Anakin, and then she's like, no, you've turned, and then he chokes her, and it's like, oh, well, that was a weird turn, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But I just want to drop so many things about the final thing of Clone Wars.
Well, and what's cool? Think about this. with Anakin possibly being in the new Obi-Wan series, we heard rumors early on that there could be casting a young Luke. How maybe could that be some sort of connection? I don't know. I think the Obi-Wan series could be a really cool kind of like tie-in to the prequels and the original trilogy in like some really unique ways where we could be seeing characters that we've never seen before on the same screen that are directly related, technically on the same screen or in the same episode. I don't know. I think there could be some really cool connections there, and that's not news, but a very exciting rumor I think we wanted to discuss.
Let's just go to the comments because my brain is like going crazy. So Terry MacGyver, he says, you got a movie, buddy? He's got a couple. The main one is Kevin Smith, not that Kevin Smith with a Y. That's cool, man. Like, yeah, he's my movie, buddy. Normally I just go alone because, nobody likes movies as much as me, except for him. Terry also says he loved the new trilogy. The only thing that annoyed him was JJ's slow-mo and fast-paced storytelling. It jumped all over the place. I do concur. It was really, I think his storytelling pace in Force Awakens, great.
Force Awakens pace is fantastic.
Yeah. What is it called? Rise of Skywalker.
Skywalker, yeah.
In Rise of Skywalker, I love the beginning, and then it slows down, and then it never really picks back up.
You thought so? I feel like the Rise of Skywalker was pretty fast all around. I almost felt like there was a bit of a
plot. Yes, but if you think about how it literally starts, you're hyperspace jumping, right?
Yeah.
We don't get faster than that.
Correct. Yeah.
So then you like jump over here for Kylo or something, and then you jump back to Rey. Or no, it's Kylo. You're on Mustafar. Then you jump through hyperspace multiple times in a super dope chase. Then you're running through the jungle with Rey, and then she slices the tree, sees Kylo, sees a Force vision, and then boom! I'm sorry for popping the audio there, but like literally, it's just like bam, we hit a wall. Because now we have to like dive in to the plot for 5 minutes, but then we jump back into a quick pace only for it to slow right back down. And it's like, it is stop and go. And the ending, like once she leaves whatever moon of Endor, or maybe it's Endor, I don't remember exactly where they're at with the Death Star. Once we leave there, it should pick back up theoretically. But she goes to Octo. And that's a quick scene, which is dope. I mean, a great scene, honestly. And then I don't remember what else is happening outside of that spot specifically. And then we have that great story beat with Ben and Han. And every time Han touches Ben's face, I freaking cry so hard. It's just adorable. And then it's like, okay. Then like the fast-paced stuff is all with the Resistance in their fighting, and they're like, oh, we got to do this. And she's giving us the coordinates. Okay, cool. And then everything with the Emperor and Ben and Rey is like super slow. And then all of the flying is super fast. And I will say devil's advocate for that motion. Like that's realistic. That's a much slower, serious thing down below Exegol versus the fast paced of flying ships and explosions on, in the sky. So granted, there's that, but I still like the movie. Don't get me wrong, but the pacing does leave me wanting a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even really to me, I kind of like them. I didn't guess get stuck up on those kind of pacing details that you and Terry point out. Now that you're saying it, maybe I will next time. But honestly, I feel like it was a pretty like quick ride to me anyway, Rise Skywalker, because there's so much packed in there. I think for me, it kind of, to me, I didn't have a problem with the pacing, but hey, to each his own. I do like that movie. I do like the Rise of Skywalker.
To me, here's my issue, like as a storyteller, and I'm not like trying to pump my butt up here or anything, or anything. Like I'm not the world's greatest storyteller, I won't lie. But in terms of the hero's journey, there was like 4 different Dark Knight of the Souls before the climactic return and the victory. You have it on Exegol. Then you have, the forest moon of Endor, or Endor's moon, or whatever. The water moon of Endor. That's what we're calling it.
Where the Death Star is.
Where the Death Star is. You have that because you almost killed Ben. So there's his first Dark Night of the Soul. And then that's really a Dark Night of the Soul for Rey as well, because she's like, I'm not good enough. Then she goes to Octo, which is another Dark Night of the Soul for her. And then you have the Resistance, which is another Dark Night of the Soul, because Leia's dead, which shout out Chewie. Like, I feel for you, bro. Then we go to Exegol, and then Rey has a Dark Night of the Soul, her third one by this point. Then the Resistance gets there, and then they have two at different points, which finally culminates. No, they have they have one which culminates in that big shot, which the fracking trailer spoiled of all the ships there. Thanks for taking all the dramatic weight out of that scene. And then we get, Han's, and then, me too, Chewie. We get that scene, and then they're losing again because guess what? The Emperor has power, unlimited starship power. And it's like, okay, stop giving. And this is my biggest issue with Rise of Skywalker. Too many fake reveals. Too many. I don't know. Too many swerves. Like you undo everything you just did. Basically, is how I look at it. C3. If I had to choose one character to actually stay quote unquote dead, it would have been 3PO. When they killed Chewie, I was super mad.
Yeah, that was.
And I was starting to cry. I was like, they killed my favorite character. Like, who am I supposed to impersonate now? And then they brought him back. I was like, thank God. Yeah. Sweet.
They do a lot of the teasing in that movie for sure.
And then didn't you think Kylo's about to die? But then the Force healing, which is like, oh, okay, cool. Like that's a cool twist on.
He does.
And then he dies again. But then you think Rey's gonna die, but they bring her back. Right. And there's one more swerve that they do with you. Is it Chewie or is no? It's what's his nuts? I mean, come on, Poe Dameron. No. You almost think he's gonna die, but then that's when everyone comes to save their world.
And you really think the I forget her name, the woman who's like is like romantic Zora. You think she's dead because because that planet,
So no one literally dies, and it's like
the Emperor maybe, and Ben Solo.
Do we know? Okay, let's be real. The Emperor is probably definitely dead.
I hope so, honestly.
Yeah, there was a nice spicy web from Sam Witwer on Rise of Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, and it was he just feels that killing the Emperor with putting his lightning in his face and evaporating him is not like what Star Wars is. And I'm like, what, Sam? Looking at the lens of all the other movies, you are not wrong. That is totally off book for epics for the stories. We're gonna move on. Terry MacGyver, Anakin Skywalker, Insurgent. Bro, write that book. I'm down. I would read that book, and I don't like reading actual books. I can't. I image what's happening, and then I like go 30 pages, and I'm stuck on the same scene because it's like so good in my head. Taking down the Empire from inside. I'm dyslexic. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I see. Okay, Anakin Skywalker, Insurgent, taking the Empire down from inside. Terry MacGyver, write that book for realsies. He also said he thought Hayden was great as Anakin and Vader. I am a fan. Once I learned that his biggest issue was he had to tone back the evils, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense now. Because, I mean, I always wanted to be Anakin Skywalker because I was like, he becomes Darth Vader, and I love Darth Vader. So I can see that. Star Wars, man. What a week. May the 4th was here. Have you watched, this is our last Star Wars topic. I swears on it. Have you watched
Gallery? I have not. I have not yet. I haven't watched anything. We didn't really touch on like what we've been up to this past week, but I've had exams. I got Yeah. I've been busy. I've been watching like anything. I've been busy. So I'm sorry. I will catch up on my Star Wars. I'm excited to. Really excited for Clone Wars. I've heard it ends spectacularly.
Bro, I love Clone Wars, but I think I love Gallery more just because I'm such a cinephile and I love filmmaking and storytelling.
How long is it?
The first one's like 30 minutes, maybe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're pretty short. The first one was short. The second one dropped today, I believe, and it's probably about the same.
Yeah, today's Friday.
I think they're going to be the same length as Mando episodes, give or take, which, about 40 minutes max. So that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, yes, we did. We hopped right in, and for good reason. We've been talking about Star Wars for 40 minutes. I've been falling for 30 minutes. So,
move on to the next topic.
Moving on to the next news, the DC movie release dates, and I just want to say I'm super excited for my birthday next year because the Batman.
Yeah, so we've been kind of putting this one off. It's kind of old news at this point, but we haven't discussed it yet. So we're gonna get to it.
I totally forgot this even came out. Like it's been such mind-boggling news lately.
Yeah, and honestly, like the news isn't actually that big. There is a whole list of kind of dates that are happening, but the actual changes are only to a few movies as of now so far. So the Batman was supposed to come out June 25th, 2021, and is now coming out October 1st, 2021, as you alluded to. The Flash, which I almost forgot was still happening.
Hold on, I don't mean to stop you. I just realized I turned 30 that day.
That's crazy.
I get to turn 30 with a Batman movie?
Dude,
I think I turned 1 with Batman the Animated Series. That's awesome.
Wow. Full circle.
Full circle. Yo, hire me as the Joker. Please?
Unfortunately, there's already too many Jokers, Thomas, so you're going to have to wait a few years.
Listen, the comic has 3 Jokers. Put me in a Hawaiian. You know
it's true.
I am the Joker to shoot you, and I'm not going to finish what he does in the comics, but you'll have to read it because spoiler alert, and it's really dark and depressing, but I'm that kind of Joker. Like I'm not the Joker to mess with. I came from the streets, boy. All right, go on. Sorry.
Anyway. So the Flash actually moved up. It was supposed to come out in July. Barely moved up. It moved up a month. July 1st, 2022. It now moves up to June 2nd, 2022. Just some weird shuffling with their dates. Shazam 2 has moved from April 1st, 2022 back to November 4th, 2022. So those are the changes. There is also all of the other dates, kind of as we kind of just brush through these. Wonder Woman 1984 has already been delayed. It is now coming out this year, supposed to August 14th, 2020.
So hyped.
Pretty aggressive date. We're seeing with Warner Brothers as well, like we talked about last week. Tenet has not moved, and it's still on July 17th, I believe.
Fine.
And hey, I'll be there for both these movies. If the theaters if AMC is open and it's like whatever, 25%, 50% occupancy, you'll catch me in the theater. The Suicide Squad.
Catch me in the theater. It's going down.
I didn't know the Suicide Squad was coming out so far away. It's August 6th, 2021. So about a year after Wonder Woman 1984. Was
that its original date?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say that sounds right. I remember it was in August 2021, roughly, because they just finished filming around August of last year, and then, let's be real, it's a James Gunn flick, so it's gonna have a lot of it finished filming this year.
It finished filming,
yeah. So I think it started around August, and normally you start principal photography about 2 years ahead on these larger budget films. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I heard actually a report that, or like James Gunn tweeting or something, that basically they're all kind of editing right now remotely, which is pretty cool. And it actually, he said that they really lucked out. They finished all of their filming before this whole pandemic happened, because now they don't really, they can just get to work and they don't have to delay it, hopefully.
Exactly. And all they will really have to reschedule would be reshoots, which they weren't ready for anyway. So
right. Yeah, so 2021 is going to be a busy year for Suicide Squad, for DCEU or DC, whatever the DC
movies in general. It's DCEU. We'll call it.
Yeah, if that's still even a thing.
I mean, it's still a thing, but it's more like Spuckum from last week than it is the MCU. We'll get there.
So 2021 Suicide Squad in August, then the Batman in October 2021, that same year. Pretty sweet. And then supposedly
1-0-2021. That's a date right there, boy.
There's a date. Supposedly the untitled Black Adam movie featuring The Rock is supposed to come out in December 22nd, 2021. So in 2021, it could be the Suicide Squad, the Batman, and Black Adam in the month, like 5 months.
Bro, anyway. and then like a year later, Shazam 2.
Correct.
Inject that into my veins, baby.
Yep. And the Flash in between there.
Okay, can we talk about Flash really quick?
Aquaman is actually supposed to currently come out like a year after Black Adam 2022. Anyway, these are just all of the dates just kind of thrown at you.
Yeah. Flash, dude. It's still rumored to be freaking Flashpoint.
Yeah. That movie has been so heavily rumored, and I feel like the writing, like the script for it has been like revised and changed 100 times. And I know it definitely
had many directors they've had too. So
yeah,
of course it's going to be revised.
And the whole incident with Ezra Miller that happened recently, that made that had some headlines going and some pretty that was questionable. And there's been so much bad vibes coming off that movie, and it sucks because I love the Flash, and I've been wanting. I feel like a high budget Flash movie would be pretty sweet,
super sweet.
Yeah,
like especially if they don't give us, especially if they don't give us like Reverse Flash right off the bat, and then
right,
like Reverse Flash. Like I'm just casting myself in everything I love.
Of course, bro.
Let me be Eobard Thawne. I could be a maniacal villain who runs really fast. I mean, I have Tourette's. I can go into Flash time. It's actually a dangerous thing for me to do, but I can do it.
So yeah, that's basically it for DC. Those are all like kind of the dates. There's still like we kind of gotta be patient with these stuff coming out, but once it start flowing out, there will be a lot to come out. I'm obviously most excited for the Batman because it's the Batman.
It's the Batman.
And it's the most like original story that we're gonna get out of these, I think, especially because we're getting
you think that's the most original story we're gonna get?
Maybe not original, but like I think maybe the it's unclear with the other movies if they're gonna be as like I guess centralized as I feel like the Batman's gonna be in like story driven, like or like character driven, whereas like the other movies are gonna rely a bit more on like we're DC and we have $1 billion to spend on a budget, and we're underwater in Aquaman, and we're lightning.
Let me stab you in the face, metaphorically speaking, because think about this. Okay, Black Adam movie, any movie with The Rock is nothing but character driven. He made me like Rampage. I did not think I was gonna like Rampage.
I did not see that movie,
and I was, dude, under freaking rated.
Really,
the amount of like love you have for George the Gorilla. I think this is his name. Like the relationship that The Rock has with that gorilla is amazing. And it's everything that The Rock touches right now is gold. He's basically Midas. And he's gonna do Black Adam. And Black Adam's story, right?
Not really.
Okay, he was a slave in Egyptian times, and he was given the power from the Council of Eight or whatever they're called. I don't remember what they're called. The Shazam family.
Mm-hmm.
Given the powers, and obviously he misuses those powers because, again, he's a freaking slave. Of course he has anger problems. Then he kind of destroys everything and everyone, and instead of ever saying Shazam again, he lives for thousands and thousands of years because he can't age. He was like the first champion imbued with the power. So so if he ever says Shazam, he dies, is basically how that works. And he becomes he's first off straight up villain, bad guy. total dickhead. And then he becomes an anti-hero like the Punisher, and then he actually becomes like I don't want to say a full-fledged hero, but he's more on the vibes of like Venom and Lobo. He'll kill you because he's willing to, but at the same time, he's fighting and even when he's a villain, he's fighting for the just cause. He just does it his own way. Very similar to Punisher. So that's Black Adam. It's by The Rock. It's going to be totally character-driven. Anything by James Gunn is character-driven. So you're sleeping on Suicide Squad. I see you.
I mean, I'm not. I think I should have reworded why I'm more excited for the Batman. I'm not a huge DC guy. Like, I'm not like you just said, and I didn't know the Black Adam background. Yeah. But Batman is easily my favorite DC character. He has the best comics, in my opinion. Like they just have like for DC comics, he's like not the only one I read. But if I'm going for a DC comic, I'm like, oh, I want to read a really good Batman comic. So I guess I have more of an attachment to Batman, and I just want to see that movie more than the others, just because I know the character more, and I just love the character more.
That makes total sense. Of course, you know the character more. It's been stabbed into your head for the last 31 years after Batman 89. I mean, my gosh, David. My gosh. Really quick, we're gonna really, Terry? He said, I'm a big wrestling fan. Didn't like The Rock during his run in wrestling. You must have been one of those people who chanted, Rocky sucks and die, Rocky, die. He's definitely grown on me over the years in his movies. I won't even lie. I've been a total Rock mark since day one of watching WWF back in 1999. That sounds right. I think I hopped in. It might have been 2000, actually. No. It was 99. It was right before 2000 happened. It was right before the millennia. I think I came in before Jericho for a couple episodes of SmackDown because it came on at midnight on NBC in Saturday nights because I don't know, but I stayed up regularly to watch that as a child on Saturdays. I did not sleep ever as a child. Still don't. So yeah, I was a big Rock fan. And then when he made it into movies, I did not like some of his first ones because I was like, it's just not for me. And then I watched a couple others and I was like, these aren't for me. And then he began producing his own movies, and boy, are those movies for me because that's great storytelling because it's focused on the love. I was right. Terry remembers him coming in as Rocky Maivia. Fantastic. All right. We are going to finally 50 minutes later. David, we might be over an hour and a half today.
Yeah, so, I think we will be. Yeah. But it's okay. We could. I think at least we're using just basically Spider-Man as our last big topic and the Sputnik or whatever. And I think and I think we should just kind of loosely kind of just bounce around with this because there's so much like really what this conversation I think is going to boil down to is Spider-Man, Morbius, Venom, the set movies, but also what this universe is, how it relates to the MCU. Because after all, this is originally MCU rumors. Yes. So I think it's a good thing to kind of like relate it to the MCU and how things get affected and what it's trying to build. And we're going to get into kind of how it's being kind of teased to be related to it or if it's in it and all of that. And then just kind of a few bits of fun bits of like kind of like news and rumors as well. So I'm excited.
I'm excited, dude. Before we hop in, just shout out to my mom. She says she was watching. I don't know if she's still watching. I don't know if she's one of these two. If I had to guess, one of these two is Terry, and the other might be Asher. I always say his name wrong when I read it. Usher Hanafi from the Gym of Clemente. What up, bro? If you like Spider-Man, which brother, man, I know you do. Just keep watching. We about to dive deep into the world of Spuckum. Fuck them. The spider powered universe. What the hell does this stand for?
It stands for I have it. Hold on. It stands for Spider-Man Cinematic. No. Oh no, it's not. Oh wait, no. Hold on.
You're looking at the wrong thing, aren't you?
Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters.
What? It's not even spider powered?
No, it is.
That's
It's
whack.
Sony. Sony. It's not Spider-Man. It's Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. So let's talk about the Sony universe of Marvel characters and how it could be. Okay, so I think I want to start with this. We've been talking about how in the Morbius trailer.
Oh, sorry, I was late on the thing. Boom, Morbius.
Nice. In the Morbius trailer, which honestly looks pretty cool. I'm curious to see what the actual story will be. But at the end,
story.
It literally was.
Yeah.
But like I kind of, how the actual story will go and the pacing and like what it will actually like dive into. Anyway,
shout out to my roommate really quick. It's really his house. I'm just crashing here because he has great Wi-Fi versus my dad's Wi-Fi. I can hear myself coming from the other room.
I guess time to go.
Sorry, back to Morbius.
Yeah, so in the end of the Morbius trailer, we see Vulture, we see Toomes, Michael Keaton's character from what appears to be his character from Spider-Man Homecoming, which was an MCU film. Obviously, Sony produced it because Sony owns Spider-Man and all of its Marvel characters, like it says, like Venom and Morbius that we're talking about today. Yeah. So this brought up the big question. Is this in the MCU? And none of this has been answered. It's all speculation, which is fun. Fun time for us because
no, it's not.
I agree. It's not, but it's also like we don't know. We don't have the answer, so it is sometimes fun to kind of think of what's actually happening. But I agree, it's not fun. It should all just be in the MCU because it's going to be a mess if it's not. And I honestly,
why I really don't think it's fun because oftentimes what I think of is better. In my I enjoy it
better than what'll actually happen.
Yeah. Like when we thought of what the new Star Wars trilogy was going to be, what I thought of, as much as I love the new stuff, and I still say that Last Jedi is one of my favorite, is probably in my top 3 of Star Wars films all time. I just love that movie.
Yeah.
What I thought of was so much better.
Right.
It had so much more Star Wars, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you told me you had a lot on Morbius. I really don't have much. I think to me, it's just that final tease in the trailer that this is that there is a direct tie-in from an MCU villain. And will there be Spider-Man? And this kind of opens us up to this whole conversation of also with Tom Hardy, like we were talking about with those Instagram posts of him. It's a picture of Spider-Man and Venom chomping on him. And there's so many.
We'll get to Venom.
We will. But there's so many teases. I feel like that's kind of collecting of Spider-Man now being in these Sony movies. It's when will we see it and what will it mean? So obviously
stop
there has
teasing me and give it to me. I don't want just the tip.
So it's crazy that I don't know. It's not crazy. I guess that I was surprised when I saw him pop up in the trailer because it is
crazy. It is super crazy because now we have nothing but questions.
Yeah.
And
it's
I don't know if we're going to get a good answer.
Yeah. That's what I'm really afraid of. So there's a few options here. It's either in the MCU, Morbius is in the MCU. Cool. Awesome. That'd be sweet.
Finally.
It's like, okay, Marvel says, Marvel Studios, Disney goes, all right, you guys can make your own little movie, but we'll help you tie it into the MC, you can be a part of our universe. Don't do anything that would really change much continuity, maybe.
Yes.
Right. So there's that option, which I think would be kind of option A, the best option. And then there's this option 2 that is it's in its own parallel kind of universe. And we have Spider-Man who can kind of bounce around universes. And there's this weird kind of multiverse thing happening, which obviously isn't outside of the realm of possibility when it comes to Spider-Man, because there's literally an anime movie called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So obviously the multiverse that was teased in Far From Home that right then was called out to be fake will probably be a real thing sooner rather than later. But
hold on. The multiverse is real because Doctor Strange aggressively mentioned the multiverse in the Doctor Strange movie.
Right.
And everyone forgot that. Us included, we totally were like, oh, the multiverse doesn't exist now. And then I watched Doctor Strange not very long after. I was like, should have had a V8.
Yeah.
So we know the multiverse exists, and
right.
time travel, we know the multiverse exists. It's totally like Endgame kind of shot everyone in the face with multiverse.
Yeah.
And then, you know, which means that Mysterio just, you know, yanked our chain a little bit. Son of a blue.
Yeah, and you wonder how, like Toombs is there, how Michael Keaton's character, like what's the deal with that? Because it's like in the trailer, it's alluded to him kind of already knowing Morbius's character, like he recognizes him, like he knows him as an old.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So I'm gonna take what you just said there about recognizing him, and I am going to upload a photo really quick to the graphics, which I sent you earlier because I did some research, and when it comes to all these movies that we're going to talk about, the most hard evidence I could find was on Morbius, because the trailer came out, which led to lots of rumors and lots of speculation. So as we all know from the trailer, Morbius shows Adrian Toombs coming in at the very end of the trailer, and he's like, Michael Morbius, good guy fallen from grace to become now seen as a bad guy. How about that? I haven't seen the trailer in a long time, but that's about the gist of it, right?
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's up?
It is believed that this guy here in the back, I cannot draw on here. I don't think.
Oh, that's Morbius.
It's being speculated by fans in this speculation world that we live in that is Morbius, which is how he knows him already. I'm gonna go ahead and be like, I'm gonna question some things, because we don't see Michael Morbius with a beard that big or gray of any kind. We don't know how long he's going to be in jail. When we see him in jail, he's in an orange jumpsuit, not a white, comma. However, also a comma. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but Adrian Toombs is wearing the very same white jumpsuit that he was in prison.
Yeah.
So, but remind me, I'm not sure if I remember this right. They're in the streets when he says that, right? Like they're not in a prison.
Yeah, okay. Correct. Yeah, and that's what everyone kind of was talking about. I've seen that picture too, where it's kind of alluding to, and you know, that picture, they could retcon that to be him. And, like, you know, they could be like,
cool as hell. Him.
Yeah. So, and
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan.
It is definitely a real note that Toombs, when he shows up in the trailer, is in that like suit he was wearing from prison, the white kind of like jail suit. So yeah, they know each other. There's something there. So that makes me want to think that it is in the MCU, because if he was jumping to a different universe, how would he know this guy, or what's going on here?
Well, we're going to get to this, but Brandon Davis.
Let's just bounce around, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, what are we, Spider-Man? Get me pictures of Spider-Man. Brandon Davis had an article talking about a live-action Spider-Verse, and in it, he was talking about, similar to you, either it's all in the MCU or it's tangentially to the MCU. And it was all based off of the Morbius trailer and what they provided. In it, one of the things he talks about is, if this is an alternate reality, then this is Adrian Toombs, but not exactly as we know him.
Right.
But as, okay, that's an assumption I can't really make on live feeds or podcasts. If you know about the multiverse, then you understand that any variation of a situation is possible to create another branch reality. For example, like you just took a sip of water right then. Well, there's another reality where everything's been the exact same, but you didn't take a drink right there. How will that affect? Butterfly effect kind of thing. So there's a very strong possibility that this is actually another universe and everything's the same, except Spider-Man's a different guy.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
like
right. It's a different Spider-Man. Some people even speculated that this is in the Tobey Maguire like universe, because also note in the Morbius trailer, Michael Morbius walks past a poster. I forget what it says. It's a Spider-Man. I forget what it says over it. Murderer, exactly. And that's, you think that's alluding to the end of Far From Home and that he murdered Mysterio, but this is what Sony stuff is what I hate. The continuity is off because the poster is of this is what it's of. I remember reading it and it looked very familiar. It is of Tobey Maguire. It's of Tobey Maguire's suit on the PS4 like character avatar screenshot, like doing this, and when the Spider-Man. I guess that's what Sony's market whip up that to throw on the wall. Like, I hate how things aren't. This is what I'm most worried about. Talking about earlier, how our ideas would be better, because I hate how the results of all this could be some dumb, like, Sony not listening to anyone and just throwing whatever Spider-Man stuff they have onto the screen because they have all the access to it they want. And okay, we're going to get to obviously more is that, you know, Spider-Man was almost out of the MCU. He literally belonged in the MCU. And a lot of people are speculating, which would make me very, very sad, is that this Spider-Man 3 and the other movie that Spider-Man's going to be in, that is an MCU film, is kind of just going to segue him and lead him into the SPUMC and just kind of make him a permanent member of that with Venom, Morbius, and whoever else, which is not what we want. We want to see all these characters together. I mean, that was my biggest problem. We're talking about Venom 2 in a second. Let There Be Carnage. My biggest problem with Venom 1, I am Mr. Spider-Man guy. I do not like how Venom was by himself. Like, this movie's definitely going to be better because it's at least Carnage. Carnage is awesome. And that makes Venom look like a better character because Carnage is like pure evil. But I did not like how it was just this Venom origin movie. Like, there's, in my mind, in my life, there's no Venom without Spider-Man. Like, they go hand in hand. It's the story of it. And they were just all over the place.
Yeah, you need it. You need Spider-Man for Venom to become a possibility.
It honestly makes Venom way more appealing as a hero or an anti-hero when he does have those moments. Like, in these solo movies, the movie itself, whatever, fine, some fun action, some cool scenes, but like just the creative thinking in the story, like the whole just kind of like movement towards it, like the whole like story they're telling overall within these movies, just that Venom's like this anti-hero. It doesn't make any sense when there's no Spider-Man who is that like moral compass, where he is something that's like compared to that, like there is a good guy that's not like Venom's not a good guy, and we all get it. And it did tremendously well at the box office, which I think is just because the popularity of the character, and it looked cool, and I think Venom looked awesome. Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Venom looked great. Like, you know, not having the spider symbol is kind of annoying, but the like white lightning all throughout his body was wicked cool, man. Yeah. Like, I was a big fan of that. I dug that, man.
Even the symbiote stuff I thought was pretty neat. That's the thing. It's like, to me, it's like, oh, the symbiote and Venom, like that's supposed to be with Spider-Man. I loved, like, I mean, Spider-Man 3 is not my favorite Spider movie, but I love all Spider-Man movies, and I love when he gets the black Venom suit, like the symbiote suit. It's like, it's one of the best Spider-Man suits of all time.
That is my favorite Spider-Man suit. Like, I was looking for this spicy web, this web yesterday, and I found a super dope. I don't know if it happened in like Ultimate Spider-Man or something, but it's a black suit, but he's got like white webs.
Yeah,
that kind of hop off, but it's not webs. It's like just armor. I have to find it and show you later because it's wicked dope. And I'm like, I can use that. Like, I want that that's what I want to cosplay right there.
Yeah. So what are your any like thoughts on Morbius movie itself? Any more on just like focusing on Morbius before we kind of move on? Because we're kind of like, I'm just bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah, you're bouncing. You're Spider-Man-ing too hard, bro. Paul likes to stay in one universe as much as he can. Knowledge is power and all, but like, that's power, Paul. That's power. I like I said, I did research. So here's my thoughts on Morbius. I'm excited. I found out about Morbius when I was like 7 or 8 or 9 or something from the animated Spider-Man series of 1996. Freaking awesome. My first introduction to Marvel, and it's why Spider-Man is always going to be in my top 3 favorite characters. Can you hear me? I see you glitching back and forth.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's all good on my end.
That's good. That means it's recording it. Because I forgot to do our backup today. So
no worries.
That's what happens when we record after a work day. So I'm super excited for Morbius, and the fact they got Jared Leto made me even more excited because he's a great actor. I've heard questionable things about like him as a person and his like how he's kind of a jerk, but I'm like, that's just rumors.
Jared Leto.
The Vulture appearance, super dope. I'm a big fan of this cast, by the way. They have Tyrese Gibson as like the antagonist of the movie. I'm not going to say villain because he honestly might be like a hero in the long run, depending on which way of the law Morbius decides to go and morality and the such. But he's definitely not going to be a good guy. He's going to be like the antagonist of the movie, but possibly a protagonist in a different movie kind of vibes. The trailer looks dope. I'm in. I'm intrigued. I was so pumped when they gave us that look of him as Morbius, and it's just,
that looks really cool.
Chef's kiss, baby. That is beautiful. That's what I was like. Give me a shot of what Morbius really looks like, or I'm out. And they showed me that, and I was like, I'm set. And then they showed me Vulture, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. What?
Yeah, that's where everyone was like freaking out because it's like, wait, what's going on? Like, I thought this was this dumb like Sony universe that's unrelated. Now it's like, wait, what's happening? Now
we have possibility of relations. That sounded dirtier than I meant it to be. So I read another article. I want to say it was also by Brandon Davis. Shout out to B Davis, like doing great things. Quarantine Watch Party. I'm going to go ahead and I'll admit, Brandon, I get a lot of my news from comicbook.com. I'm going to just tell you now and tell the world. That's pretty much, I go to 2 sites, comicbookmovie.com and comicbook.com. Everybody else is, in my opinion, they speculate a lot more than I prefer. And it's like, it's annoying. So I really just frequent those 2 sites, but they had an article about the Vulture cameo probably being in the last scene. And I sent you this article because I kind of wanted you to get down for everybody. But essentially every Spider-Man movie since Homecoming, every Sony movie since since The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has shown the final shot or final sequence of the movie in the trailer, including Spider-Man attacking Mecha Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And the mysterious guy walking past the suits in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Octo arms and the Vulture wings, which I was so much more excited about Vulture wings because I've been wanting to see a take on Vulture for a long time, especially since they were rumoring it, because I didn't know how you could ever make it work. And then the MCU made it totally work.
Of course they did. You know what's funny is that Vulture was supposed to be the
Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, Spider-Man 4 villain.
Which was supposed to be released like, what was it? 11 years ago. Yeah, 11 or 9 years ago, 2 days ago. Whoa. Oh my God. This is what happens when you mess with your mic. I almost ripped it down. Spider-Man Homecoming showed him removing his mask, and then they cut the part out where Aunt May is like, what the? And they cut the credits.
Yeah.
Far From Home showed Peter and MJ, which I'm just going to be honest, like, I love Zendaya. Like, I love her. And I'm not just saying it because, I'm not just saying that, like, I love Zendaya. They showed that sequence. Venom, they showed him eating a robber. They showed an extended version of that scene in the trailer, which is mind-boggling that it was longer in the trailer, but not really mind-boggling, all things considered, in terms of the pacing of that movie, which we'll get to. And so in this movie, Morbius, it's like, okay, that's probably the final scene, because if you put that anywhere in the movie,
yeah, it's like, what are they doing?
I don't think it flows, but I think it perfectly flows at the end of the movie, because not only are you setting up the future of Morbius, you're tying it into everything else. Now, stop from that thought process. There is a set photo, my eyeball, of Where is Spider-Man, and it's from the Daily Bugle, and I'm gonna upload.
I think it was from the Venom actual set.
Yes, but it's important to note because we had the Sam Raimi suit, right?
You're right, correct.
Okay, and this is what I'm talking about here.
The Daily Bugle, kind of like from the Raimi universe, the Daily Bugle.
So this is, I'm putting this here in Morbius because it ties into my next sequence of. So this is from Spider #1 fam, which, as everyone knows from Far From Home, is Flash Thompson. When I say penis, you say Parker, penis. Which is how I greeted David a lot.
When I'd walk into Clemente to that.
When I say penis, you say Parker, penis. Parker, because I'm a terrible friend. Also, it's hilarious. So this was this is a part of. So the reason I'm saying this is Morbius is because it says a vampire in New York ? That's obviously a direct reference to Morbius.
Morbius, yeah.
Where is Spider-Man ? This is actually the Daily Bugle. You can't see me rotating, but if you take the Daily Bugle logo and Where is Spider-Man, that is plastered on a bus, which is rumored to be from Venom 2. Let's Let There Be Carnage. Now, there is a set photo which I did not download and I cannot show to everyone, so my bad. But there is a little animated drawing of a black face, white eyeballs, and a squiggly line for the mouth of Venom. That is a set photo from Morbius. Allegedly, Jared Leto. What's the word I'm looking for? Jared Leto posted it. I could be wrong because I did not do a lot of research on that specific mention of it. But if that's the case, then we have the Daily Bugle logo from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Son of a bitch.
What?
I just realized how it all ties together.
Oh my gosh. What?
I'll get to it in a moment. Holy frack, dude. Okay, I'm gonna get to it now because I just lost my thought of all of what I was talking about. 5-year gap, dude.
Right.
Venom is supposed to take place when? We say like 2018-ish, right? Right? Venom 2, when's it supposed to take place? I don't know. When's Morbius take place? I don't know. But if I had to guess and it were in 2020, big issue here if they don't reference the blip of Endgame, holy shirt. But at the same time, you'd have to, look at the coronavirus as a small scale. In some places of the world, life continued. No ifs. Me, here, I'm a great example. My daily life changed about 0%. I went to work every single day. The only thing that changed is all of my friends from entertainment now are at home and I have more work to do from entertainment. Like, I get to work from home more now and doing acting things and podcasts with you and hosting Cyber Concert tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's my only real big change. I went to the office every day. I went to job sites every day. Daily life at the stores kind of changed, but overall life continued on. And as Steve Rogers eloquently said in Endgame, you got to move on, guys. The world's in our hands, and if we don't take hold of it, who will?
I like that idea. I literally have not put that in context with the 5-year gap.
I just did. Like, this is a spicy web alert, a fan story, like instantaneous. Holy crap! I literally thought of it in the moment.
So, what are you thinking? Are you thinking that these movies take place before? Like during, while he's gone, like in that time period in between? That's where I think it would make the most sense. Because if he doesn't show up,
because
he wouldn't be there.
Because where is
Spider-Man
now?
But then again, that would be a dumb question to ask after the blip because they just know where he is. He blipped away.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's so hard. I mean, that's like such a
very hard to say.
It's such a generic headline for a Daily Bugle like that.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, Spider-Man 2. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that exactly. And is that ripped from Spider-Man 2?
Exactly. Do we get Tobey Maguire? I don't know.
More fan theories. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. Going off of that, the biggest, like, the Sputnik, the Sony universe of Marvel characters, this whole thing.
Manal is in this chat. Hello, Manal. Hi. I love your hair. I still love your hair. I'm jelly. It's so poofy and beautiful.
Manal's hair is fantastic.
Manal's hair is fantastic. Manal is a fantastic human being. Along with Deso Faulkner and Derek Schaefer, who are also watching, it tells me. And I think Manal just left. Damn.
She hated us.
She knew we were talking about Marvel and was like, I've seen this. I've seen it.
Yeah. No, but if this Sony... Okay, so this whole thing with like Spider-Man leaving the MCU and all this kind of uncertainty with the future and everything, like I just want everyone to be in the MCU, but if there is some world where that isn't the case and that's become this big Sony universe where they are actually trying to make it work with just Spider-Man against all of these villains and the Sinister Six leading up to all that, all the cool Spider-Man stuff we'd like to see, but we'd like to see it in the MCU. The pinnacle Infinity War Endgame Avengers big time moment for this Sony verse would be getting Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland on the same screen. Like, that is the bottom line to all of this, in my opinion. This whole Sony thing, the alluding to the producer of Into the Spider-Verse alluding to in the tweet during the watch party that they tried to get those three in a post-credit scene, just like the voices of them for a post-credit scene in the animated movie, and them saying it was too soon. Like, that is the fact that was even a discussion is big news.
Too soon is the response,
right?
There's hope.
Yeah.
And hope is like the sun. If you only believe in it when you can see it, then you'll never make it through the night. Thank you, Star.
I mean, and the thing is, like, that'd be cute. Into the Spider-Verse little teaser at the end. That's cute. But getting them live action,
dude, that's what I wanted so bad for Spider-Verse 2 was them to do that, because then it opens the possibility. And we knew the multiverse existed, which is, I mean, this is the thing that if it is an alternate reality, it sucks. But the day that Marvel owns the rights, they can keep the actors and be like, so you're basically the same character, but we're going to have a little bit of a tweak here and there so it fits in our continuity a little bit. You cool with that? Yeah. You're paying me, boss. So, and I was going to wait till we got to that. I was going to let that be like our creme de la creme of the whole thing after we snuck in Spider-Verse 2, because I mean, we're almost at an hour. We're at an hour and 21 minutes.
All rules are off.
There are no rules. So that was jumping way far back. That Venom Easter egg ties in Venom to Morbius. And since MCU is tied to Morbius, it ties Venom to MCU. Now there is also it sets up Sinister Six. That was my big point for Morbius with Toombs there. And again, I don't know if you can read or if you have read, but leave us a comment and you have your thoughts down in the chat. I know Terry's been leaving some. We'll get to them in a moment, pal. I assure you. This is leading to Sinister Six. It is. It 100% is. When Morbius, I mean, you already teased it in Homecoming. You've had Mysterio. Now you have J. Jonah Jameson advocate for Mysterio, which means you then have a Thunderbolt Ross style character to advocate for the Sinister Six, hunting down Spider-Man. And then it's rumored, sorry, no, it's aggressively speculated that the actor Jared Harris is playing Dr. Octopus because his role has been undisclosed. I saw your face. Now, he himself has said, no, I'm not playing Dr. Octopus. In that same article, it has been said that he's playing Emil Nikos, who is Morbius's childhood best friend in the comics. But in this, it looks like, and he's also a doctor, by the way. But in this movie, it looks like he's going to be his childhood mentor, because he's the one who says, when Morbius is like, at what cost? Like, at what point do I give up hope? And he's like, well, at what cost? It's like, well, at the point that your actions become something else. So that is that character. And spoiler alert for the comics, he gets killed by Morbius the moment that Morbius becomes the vampire. So that's kind of cool.
What's cool in that rumor I've seen about Venom, just kind of leading into getting to Carnage a bit, is that J. Jonah Jameson might appear. That's like a big rumor flying around for that one. Yeah, that's what I've read that.
I had written down for Morbius, J. Jonah Jameson, question mark?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of rumors that people are getting like little tidbits of when it comes to Morbius / Venom, because both movies are kind of in the same realm, that there's no MCU kind of like overseers in it, and there's not a lot of insight into like who all is going to show up, but there is clearly with the Vulture, that tease, that there is going to be some teases, and I would not be surprised if we see Spider-Man and Venom like in the very end. That would not stun me, to be honest, because I think Sony really wants that. They clearly they were moving forward before the MCU and Sony made this deal to bring him back to the MCU. They were clearly moving forward with this kind of Sinister Six building, have Spider-Man in it. And I think they're still going to at least somewhat stick to those plans to a certain degree. So it would not stun me if we do see Spider-Man at the end of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which, I'm excited. I mean, I think I'm more excited for Venom Let There Be Carnage than I am for the first Venom, just because I think it'll be a better movie. Andy Serkis is directing. I have faith in him. I think with these possible MCU tie-ins, that'll help the story a lot. I think that could possibly add some depth to it that I think was missing from the first one. Yes. Woody Harrelson as Carnage, like that Woody sounds pretty sweet.
Amazing, dude. Like, he's an amazing actor and everything. He made me like Tobias Beckett in freaking Solo, and I didn't want to like him. I knew he was going to turn on Han.
Yeah.
He taught him the rules. And then what happened? Han shot first. Remember that, children. I teach my nephews that, by the way. I'm a very stark Han shot first fan, because I was 7 in 1998, and my dad showed me. I was not 7. I was only 6 because it was 97. Magic. It was before we got it from Blockbuster, and it was before the special editions came out. And I saw the original version where Han shot first.
Yeah.
It happened. It happened. It matters. I know Harrison Ford doesn't care, but I care, damn it.
Woody Harrelson I think would be great.
Here's this is a good question. Before we fully pop out of Morbius, we already teased Venom multiple times. Are we gonna see Kraven hunting Morbius? Question mark. With a Blade pop up at the end.
I've heard of possible Blade. I mean, it's pure speculation, but like Blade's, it's coming in the MCU. Is he direct? If the Sony universe and Marvel is connected, Blade and Morbius, is that a connection? Like, that would be amazing. This is why these movies need to be in the same universe, because of all the connections there could be made.
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on just Blade alone. Kraven hunting Morbius? I don't think in this movie. I don't think that, because fan theory alert, because I think he's going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, that's the big rumors that Kraven's going to be the main villain.
I don't think Kraven is going to be in Morbius. I would love, and I mean abso-freaking-lutely love, Blade to hunt Morbius, because in Spider-Man, the animated series from 96, that's how I learned about Blade and Morbius, because it was in the same freaking arc in season. And so when Blade came out like a year later in 98, I was like, oh my God, Dad, I want to watch that movie. I'm 7, by the way. I really want you to remember this. So when you think about parent rearing, don't do what my dad did, which is let me watch Blade at 7 years old, which was the first vampire movie that didn't totally freak me out because I knew it was a comic book movie.
Right.
Like, and I'd already seen
right.
movies. And I mean, I still don't watch Batman Returns because the Penguin scares the hell out of me. Like, it just scares me and I can't watch it. I've tried 3 times and can't get past the opening bits. So I would love for Blade to pop up.
Let me ask you this.
Blade is fully owned by Marvel Studios and Disney now.
Correct.
I believe.
It is, yeah.
So
he is.
I don't know if that's going to happen because Adrian Toomes, the Vulture, is owned by Sony. So they have the rights to use him in their movies, even if Disney said no. And really, it's not Disney, it's Marvel Studios. It's like, no, we don't want you to do him. We're doing it anyway because we own the character. We let you use him in Homecoming.
Right. So let me ask you this. I've read that I've not read this comic, but I've read that Venom Let There Be Carnage is based off Maximum Carnage storyline from the comics. Have you read it? I have not. Maximum Carnage. I want to read it now though.
But wasn't Maximum Carnage recent?
Maybe.
I need someone in the chat who reads comics to actually like help me out here because I am.
But yeah.
Look at you. How about you look it up and I'll fill for time because I'm not going to lie to you. I want to know.
I heard that was actually initially going to be the possible name of the movie instead of Let There Be Carnage, Maximum Carnage. But it's a little too on the nose. See,
I think they went with Let There Be Carnage simply so they don't end up with the expectations of doing something from comics right off the bat.
Maximum Carnage is a 14-part comic book crossover published by Marvel Comics, blah, 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 in 1993. So
it's the first one. All right, cool. Because I knew then whatever was recently might have been Absolute Carnage. Like there was one recently that was Carnage based, and it was fracking bonkers, man. From what I've heard, I've been told to read it, but I haven't read the ones I've bought yet. So
yeah.
If it's based on that, because I loosely know what Maximum Carnage is because I have frequented the internet in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, man, holy shirt balls, that's impressive. But I'm not. I'm at the point where I don't want Sony to try and do a storyline of anything. I'd rather them just try and make up their own story. Because in that case, I won't be as mad if they mess up like a comic book storyline, you know?
Yeah. What's annoying is that, of course, in Maximum Carnage, I believe Spider-Man is there. This is the same thing I was talking about with Venom, the first one. It's like these stories are meant to have Spider-Man there.
He was there. I think Riley was there. The clone. I think that was after the clone.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he pops up in this. I kind of doubt it because it's so.
I just want a Spider-Man to pop up in this movie.
If it's not Tom Holland that pops up, that would be nutty. Like everyone would go ballistic.
Dude, like just imagine if it was Andrew Garfield for a second.
I would lose my mind. I hope.
Holy crap. Okay, what if?
Oh boy.
What if in a world where you have Venom, Carnage, Morbius, Scorpion, Mysterio, and by the way, this is a fan theory pitch. By the way, I'm not putting the graphic.
Vulture
and Vulture. You need a team of Spider-Men. You need Peter Parker, and Peter Parker, and Gwenom. Sorry, wrong. Spider-Gwen. My bad. I jumped the gun because I really just want Gwenom. Like it's one of my favorite suits. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might get a Gwenom costume because like gender bank Gwenom would be sick. I love Gwenom. It's such a cool costume, dude. It's so lit.
Yeah. Nah,
and Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. Like, what would be really cool is if that a theoretical live action never going to happen, but maybe someday we get those 3 on live action and it introduces Miles Morales, almost like Spider-Verse did in animation. Like, that would be crazy.
You know what would be super sweet is if they introduced Miles Morales, but they introduced the version who's older than than Peter Parker in the MCU, and you have the actor who played him in Spider-Verse play him in real life as an adult.
It'd be really cool.
Or someone who's a little bit older and he mentors him, dude. Because then he finally
get like this. Like, none of this is gonna happen, and I'm sad about it.
He gets a legitimate. That's a spicy web. He gets a legitimate good mentor. You know, Iron Man was good and all, but like, let's be real, he did have his flaws. Every hero and mentor has their flaws, but he was idolized by the guy. But this would not be an idolization. Like how he worked with Mysterio would be how he works with Miles Morales. And now he's got to, overcome his trust issues, right? Like, think about that. And it's like, you can't be a good Spider-Man. You're wearing black. I am black. What? That's crazy. No, man. You're lying to me. Takes off the mask. What? Oh, man, I thought you were like just another version of me. He's like, no, Peter, I'm not. What? How do you know I'm Peter? Well, I guess everyone knows I'm Peter. No, Peter, I know you're Peter because in my universe, you were killed like 10 years ago. Boom.
Oh man,
Sony,
I hope
something
like this happens. Like, they made Into the Spider-Verse. You have the format. You made it yourself. You made an excellent movie. Yeah. Oh man,
dude,
they need to incorporate that stuff in their live action. Like,
here's what I really want to happen if they do a live Spider-Verse. I want Chris Miller and Phil Lord to be the guys behind it.
I'm totally down.
Like, granted, it didn't work out for them in Solo, but the reason it didn't work out for them in Solo is their method of shooting and what they their style and comedic style. It wasn't never going to work for Star Wars.
I don't blame them.
I mean, I would have enjoyed it because it would have been a little bit more like 21 Jump Street, I think, in terms of the style of humor and the realism of certain things. But at the same time, it wasn't going to feel like Star Wars, and it probably would have pissed people off even more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Everyone's like, oh, this movie is Disney. If you want to get mad, blame Ron Howard. And if you blame Ron Howard, then you're going to be an idiot. Because Ron Howard.
Yeah, Solo is honestly, I think, a little underrated. I mean, like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
People make it out to be the worst Star Wars movie ever. And I always go, okay, did you like Jar Jar Binks? No, but okay, did you like the rapey Stockholm Syndrome relationship of Anakin and Padme? No, but okay, then what's your problem with Solo? Well, that wasn't Han Solo. Yeah, but people change, bro. Like, look at
that movie is a fun ride. Honestly, it's a fun ride. Like, I don't think it's
so much fun. It's a great flick, and they gave us the real version of Maul.
Barely a hologram.
Okay. So I don't care because anyone that wants to be like Clone Wars isn't canon, okay, but Solo is. So bam.
Yeah, exactly.
and it led to Ray Park coming in to do mocap for Darth Maul during Clone Wars.
Yep. Like, can't wait to watch.
Wait till you get to that fight scene, bro. It's so sexy.
I'm looking forward to it. So what do you think for Spider-Man 3, which is in the MCU? Are you predicting any sort of crossover? Do you think it'll be its own story? Like, I think the way this thing logistically could work is that you see kind of the MCU, almost like the TV shows. The MCU affects the Sony universe, but it's not the other way. It's the Sony universe rarely, unless it's Spider-Man himself, is affecting MCU stuff. I would like that to be the case. But I don't see, like, all of a sudden we're seeing Venom teased in an MCU film like Spider-Man 3. And the big villain that has been teased, we've been mentioning, I know Terry said in the comment earlier, is
yes. Well,
Raven.
I kind of want to go back to Venom really quick, if you don't mind. because we've been jumping all the guns today. This is what happens when you have a work day and then you actually podcast at the end of the day. You're tangential. So Tom Hardy, like you're like, it has to mean something, and I'm 100% saying it means nothing.
Oh, yeah,
because he keeps teasing Venom eating Spider-Man, and as exciting as that idea is, like, we are Venom. As much as
I think it, yeah, go on.
Like I don't think it means anything. I think it's nothing more than them saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. And then it's like, okay, but prove it. Like
right.
That's how I look at it. And you look at it totally differently. So,
I just think the fact that it's Tom Hardy like posting those pictures, I think that it kind of just teases and gives us a better sense that Spider-Man will come in contact with Venom, which is not a confirmed thing. It's being obviously very alluded to, but will it be in like? And because he's doing it now, it ups my it just kind of increases my speculation that he will appear in Let There Be Carnage. Maybe not Tom Holland. It could be a different Spider-Man because it's just some cheap fan art that he's posting, but it hasn't been the Spider-Man, the Homecoming, or like the Tom Holland suits in it necessarily. So, and as we saw in the poster in in the Morbius trailer, that wasn't Tom Holland's suit. So there's so much confusion, and I think the bottom line of this whole conversation is I really hope they do find a through line between the two universes, between the Sony universe of Marvel characters and the MCU that is clear and concise. And there is some real, like, deliberation, some real, like, ground, like some meeting ground between the two studios where it doesn't leave fans scratching their head being like, what was that? Okay.
I got you. I got you, bro. Here we go. This is also the spiciest of webs that I'm about to shoot out here. Okay, Spider-Man comes out 11/5/21. That pushed Doctor Strange back. Spider-Man 3 was always before Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Correct.
Okay. Venom is June 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Morbius is March 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking no matter what happens, if Spider-Man shows up, and this has been my thought since they said Spider-Man will be in 2 new movies, I've always thought it's going to be Spider-Man 3 and unfracking fortunately Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And that's how they write him out of the MCU. Because I think Sony wants the rights back. Big time.
And they have the rights. They just have been sharing.
Exactly. And I think they want them back 100%. But because of what has happened, and they keep saying it's a win-win, and they've, for the first time, and I'm sorry, I couldn't keep going. Hold on, let me do it. For the first time in forever. They listen to the damn fans, dude.
Yeah.
They read the room.
Holland, who was like, no.
Yeah. He was like, guys, I need you to do this because this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is because he's a fan. He understands what's at stake here. And let's be real. You will make more money together than you will apart. And Disney's not working. Disney's like, all right, fine, go do your thing. We'll wait for you to sell your company.
The proof is in the pudding. Far From Home made the most movie of any Sony movie ever.
And you want to say, oh, well, that's because it was tied into the MCU. Duh. That's the fracking point. I'm so close to dropping the F-bomb because I get passionate. But that's the point, man. You take it out of the MCU and you lose all of the magic that you have right now. Then all of a sudden, all the things he went through, all the things he said, I mean, all you can really reference then would be anything that showed up in Homecoming and Far From Home. So you can reference that Endgame happened,
but you can't reference the characters.
You wouldn't be able to reference Iron Man anymore because that is owned by there's so much legality. Although question mark, because not a question mark, there is a pop culture copyright reference going on that you can say. So like you can say certain things if it's pop culture. So you know, I Am Iron Man is kind of pop culture. I Love You 3000 is pop culture. So they might be able to finesse around it that way, but that's just cheap.
The bottom line is that the MCU Spider-Man with Homecoming, Far From Home, and his appearance, he has been deeply involved in the MCU. Like he is a MCU. Tom Holland Spider-Man is an MCU character.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield's wasn't. Tobey Maguire's wasn't.
Nope.
Tom Holland's is an MCU character, and his movies do not feel like Sony films. No, they are MCU films.
And
like
they
that's the bottom line
around him.
Yeah, the worst thing about this whole thing is that if he's written off, like you're speculating, which is a possibility, like we said, we only have 2 guaranteed movies in the MCU.
That's so sad.
Is that he will not be in a future Avengers 5 movie? Like that is horrible to me.
Unless that is his last film, which then if Kang is a thing, then holy balls. like we speculated last week, you know, if Kang ends up being the main villain of like Avengers 5, then by all means, then they can write him out of that. Because once you jump into timelines and change a couple things, what does that do? Create an alternate reality, Spider-Verse magic. So
yeah, it's just we're hoping for the best. We hope this whole Sony universe Sputnik comes together and works well with the MCU. But I don't know.
Yeah, Terry MacGyver said the Venom movie was good. Again, I am so dyslexic, but I'm not sure on Tom Hardy being cast as Eddie though. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I
don't mind Tom Hardy.
I don't mind Tom Hardy, but I did not like the way they introed Eddie Brock in that movie. Like I'm like, oh, I like this guy, and then he's a total dickbag, and I'm like, I don't care about him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want him to do anything good.
Yeah.
And then he gets the Venom symbiote, and then he tries to be good, and I'm like, I'm confused.
The symbiote, like alter ego, was a more endearing character than Eddie Brock, which should not be the case.
No, yeah, exactly. Like I cared so much more about Venom than I cared about Eddie Brock.
Yeah, like it was
legitimately should be the other way around. Like I should care about the character, not the superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my only real knock on Venom is it felt like it came out in 2004. Like 100%. 100% feel like it was from 2004.
Like outside of the graphics, yes, I know exactly what you mean. Just kind of like the feel, the tone, the gritty.
You know, they did a lot of stuff in the dark, so you know you can get away with the graphics being the way they were. Like, have you seen Hulk 2003? At night, it looks good.
Right.
So,
but in the daylight, it looks green.
This removed like Incredible Hulk's better than Venom, and I like Incredible Hulk, but I have issues with it as a Hulk fan.
Yeah,
mostly because
I've got big issues with Venom as a Spider-Man fan. Let me tell you.
Same. Like I'm a big fan of Venom, and I love everything. It's not a good movie until symbiote shows up, and then when the symbiote shows up, it's like, oh. Yeah,
it's unreal how many good villains. That's why I like Batman so much, is because he has such a good artillery of villains. Spider-Man is the same way. Spider-Man has insanely good amounts of villains. Like he has so many of them.
You've got like 3 different versions of the Sinister Six with only like 1 or 2 characters being on 2 teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you also have 3 different versions of.
Imagine them actually in the MCU's hands. Oh my gosh!
Imagine the superior Spider-Man, bro.
You know what's crazy? That's actually a loophole in the rights kind of thing. If, say, a company like Apple or a bigger company were to buy Sony Pictures, Spider-Man just goes back to the Disney. He's not a transferable right. If a studio were to buy Sony Pictures,
non-transferable. That's.
Come on.
Come on, but you got to think about it. Like, I don't think Sony will be selling Sony Pictures anytime soon.
No, why would Spider-Man make so much money? Like,
exactly,
it makes sense. They're trying to milk all these characters because they have they're money makers. Venom made a lot of money for them. Like it wasn't critically accepted that well, but it made a ton of money.
Yeah, exactly. And and Spider-Verse, they finally proved that they can stop meddling in movies and let filmmakers make films.
Such a quality film. I love
Spider-Verse. I am so excited about Andy Serkis coming on Venom, because that mother trucker knows how to tell a story. As a mocap artist, as an actor, as a director. I'm trying to remember what he's directed before. He's I'm pretty sure he was the director of all the mocap stuff for a bunch of different films. Like he was the second unit director for mocap stuff for multiple films from after he was Schmiegel. Anthony Herbert says.
I mean, probably his experience of mocap will help, Tom Hardy and I'm blanking. Woody Harrelson when they had the mocap probably a little bit for their characters and all that. So I'm excited. Spider-Man 3 is going to be fantastic. Like bottom line.
Finally there.
Like there's no doubt in my mind Spider-Man 3 is going to be fantastic. In the MCU, proper MCU, we get the fallout of J. Jonah Jameson announcing to the world that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Whatever that means, if they kind of downplay it after that, or if it's the biggest deal in the world. We get MJ, we get Ned, we get all these characters that are in the MCU that we care about so much. And I just hate how it feels we have to now horseshoe all these villains in that Sony's trying to do, because they've created such a cool universe with great villains, and he fits so nicely. And he's like, it's unreal that a character, I don't even know what, this is going to be like his 6th MCU film, Spider-Man 3. And it almost still feels like he's just getting started in my mind, because Civil War, but and then Infinity War.
I had to count on my hands.
And it's like crazy, because I feel like he could keep going for like 6 more films in the MCU, because he feels like he's still this young character. He's never really, even Far From Home, he still felt like he had such like he was inexperienced, and he needed like other Spider-Man movies.
He finally became the Spider-Man we know and love with the Peter tingle.
Him swinging around New York at the end. It's like, yes, that was so deserved. And I feel like in other Spider-Man, trilogies, well, I mean, not trilogy and Amazing Spider-Man, but they kind of just became Spider-Man quicker because they didn't have these other characters around them. And in this universe, it's it feels so much more organic, him rising up and being this goofy kid who makes mistakes. And
he's 15 in Civil War.
Yeah.
So like he's a genuine child.
Yeah, no, he's a kid.
I thought I was king shit when I was 15. I was a freaking idiot. I had like 145 IQ or whatever it was, and I was just an idiot. I did dumb things, but I also played football, so stuff happens.
Right, yeah.
But the fact is, like, I agree. Spider-Man 2 is the Sam Raimi version is top 3 Spider-Man movies of all time.
Oh, for sure.
I love
the top 2.
When Homecoming came out, I was like, oh, this is the best live action Spider-Man of all time. When Far From Home came out, I was like, this is the best live action Spider-Man movie of all time. And I will stick to Far From Home. I'd probably go Far From Home. As time has gone on, Spider-Man 2's overcome Homecoming. But if I were to say the top 3 Spider-Man movies of all time, including Spider-Verse is number 1. Then Far From Home, and then Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Verse just totally got what it means to be Spider-Man. And it comes down to anyone can wear the mask.
Oh, so
it's about
good,
what
man.
you have inside, which is why I love Spider-Man. Like
exactly. That's why I love Spider-Man, man. That movie embodies what Spider-Man is. Exactly.
And when I put on a Spider-Man costume, like I used to entertain kids. And whenever I put on a Spider-Man costume, I was the fun child that everyone always like, oh man, you're this. And I got away from my angst. My angst was gone. I was just cracking jokes. Like I would go there stressed, tired, exhausted, sweating my butt off because my car doesn't have AC and it was Central Florida. And then all of a sudden I put on the suit and I'm like, all right, man, like, I'm feeling good. And then I put the mask on and I'm like, I'm home. Like it's great. I'm a PG-13 Deadpool and I'm great at being PG-13 and being Deadpool. So those work well. So So, I'm cracking jokes and kids like, dude, you're really good. Or not kids, parents like, you're really good. You're really like Spider-Man. And, I put on, I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Like, holy crap, dude. What? Oh, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man too, dude. Oh, I love your outfit, man. And then I take the mask off and they go, oh my God, you're like a man. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man, man. It's a whole act. And I embody a child. I mean, I'm a child in a man body, so that's kind of easy. But
yeah.
So here's some thoughts that I had. I was thinking about it today, and you mentioned a couple things from Homecoming, so I'm gonna do two different scenes and project what I think Spider-Man 3 is gonna do with these. In Homecoming, that climactic scene of like accepting the duality and taking on his own fight is when he's underneath all of the rubble and he's in the homemade suit and he's like, help, help. And
best
then,
scene in the movie.
Dude, I cry every time. And then he's like, come on, Spider-Man. Come on, Spider-Man. And you find out how strong he is. And he shows his willpower to not just do the right thing, but to survive. And I love that.
Yeah. Oh,
Homecoming, the climactic scene is